What's going on, guys? And for this job, I actually started cutting aluminum for the first time on my SmartShop M2, cutting some 1/4-inch aluminum plate. What I'm doing here is just making sure that my VCarve program is correct, making sure all my passes are the correct depth, making sure I actually cut all the way through the material, also making sure that I'm actually cutting the outside versus the inside on each pass. So after this, I'm going to confirm the program, export it to the machine, and start cutting aluminum. So for this job, in terms of setup, just had to end up getting a new bit from Tools Today designed for aluminum, and just reduced my feed rate a little bit to compensate for the harder aluminum versus wood. In terms of locking down the aluminum, obviously have it on the vacuum table. Got a block of wood running across to support the bottom. I've got some screws in the spool board to hold it, and then obviously I have a piece of wood there up top you can't see in the video. But honestly, for that first one, I was running a 1/4 of an inch pass each time, running about 85 inches per minute. Found out that was a little too fast and a little too deep. I was having some trouble getting through. You can see that some of the chips weren't ejecting correctly, and it was more melting them than it was cutting them. So for the rest of the job, I was cutting a 1/60 of an inch each time, about 70 inches per minute, keeping WD-40 sprayed on the bit at all times to keep it cool, and also just to help with a cleaner finish on the outside of each of the grill vent covers. So you'll see here, I decided to lower the dust cover just to see if it would help suck up those aluminum chips. Kind of got paranoid and a little anxious running it with the dust cover down because I couldn't keep an eye on the bit, couldn't keep that WD-40 sprayed on the bit itself. So decided later on the job to raise that up just to keep it cool and just to make sure that I actually keep an eye on everything and make sure nothing breaks. One thing I'm going to keep in mind next time I'm running aluminum is to make sure I have enough space between each of my pieces. I noticed that they were too close together and ended up with a kind of a string of aluminum that would end up getting wrapped around the bit. So for next time, I'm going to keep in mind to make sure I have enough spacing in between to prevent any sort of thin pieces of aluminum from getting ejected like you saw. So I'm sure some people may say, why didn't you run with that dust cover down? I just felt like I could actually keep an eye on it better. I just ended up sucking it out with a shop vac every once in a while just to keep it clean. But you can see, ended up with a pretty nice finish there. I will upload some pictures later on to our Instagram to show kind of the finished product and what these actually were for.